Hello, it's a pleasure to welcome you to another edition of the evening political rumbles. I remain the anchor of Inquest TV. Here are the highlights of today's discussion. The first has to do with, of course, the yesterday's court ruling or proceedings of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, in the person of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and the aftermath of the, of course, court ruling, and the general perception and, of course, argument that surrounds his continued detention within the DSS facility. The second on the list, of course, has to do with the aftermath effects of the occurrence that accompanying the gruesome murder of Deborah Yakubu Samuel, and how, of course, the hoodlums took the advantage to unleash mayhem, going after the property and business and shops of the Igbo people residing within the northern region. I would want to ask, what could have led to the invasion, or what could have led to the burglary or burgling of the Igbo property, especially their business ventures? Would it be said that Igbos, of course, are seen as the sacrificial lamb, or people who, of course, has to bear the brunt of every unrest within the Nigerian states? But in this case, of course, the Igbos are far from, of course, being part of the actors in this scenario. The Yakubos Deborah hails from Niger State, which is still within the northern hemisphere. And why should the hate and the anger, bleeding fanatics, resort, of course, to take advantage of every opportunity to express their level of hate and anger against the Igbo people? This is fundamental and should not be dismissed, of course, with or treated or with the case law. Of course, it has the potential of escalating or heating up the politics. And how could this be addressed in the light of all these problems, of course, already bedeviling the Nigerian states, so that we can avoid the repeat of the 1966 pogrom, which afterward led, of course, to the first brutal and unimaginable genocide in the history of the world, yet unaddressed, the 1967 to 1970 civil war between the Nigerian and the Biafran states. Could this be a repeat, of course, of the past? That could, of course, invariably, in no small ways, submit or admit that we have not learned lesson from the past, and of course, the present situation might possibly, if not handled well, be a repeat of the 1966 massacre or wanton destruction of life and property, which unfortunately resorted to the declaration of the Biafran states, and of course the consequent declaration of war on the part of the Nigerian state against the Biafra, in a bid to frustrate that move by the then, of course, governor of the eastern region, Chief Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu. Well, of course, these are very trying moment and in the history of Nigeria, and as it has to do with the ethnic nationalities, most of which have failed, aggrieved, and marginalized in the course of the years, and there appears to be nothing or little done to, of course, provide solution, a lasting solution for that matter, that to ensure the reintegration of the entire region and everyone having a sense of belonging and identity. Not just a few people being preferred over the others, for people being considered as beyond or above the law or first-class citizens, which of course they can do anything and get away with that. People who believe they have the right to kill and get away with that. This is not how a system should be built, and this is not healthy for humanity. We cannot in any way entrench a democratic setting, especially in this democratic, supposed democratic dispensation, where people have the free will and right to express themselves. Unfortunately, this is not the case in today's Nigeria. What, of course, in the court proceedings, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's, the 6 count charges levied against him has been dismissed. I would want to say congratulations to his legal teams for doing a very tedious and rigorous defense, of course, to this effect. Then, if that is the case, that the Chief Judge presiding over the case, Justice Binta, have once again dismissed, of course, the allegations, unfounded allegations, unfounded in the case that there is no substantial evidence presented by the Nigerian Defense Council, of course, to argue their allegations or against the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. Now, my fundamental question is, why should Mazi Nnamdi Kanu continue to be held within the DSS facility if truly he has nothing, of course, in his cupboard to hide? If Nigerian government have not been able to substantiate their claim or allegations, then it has no reason to, of course, continue being subjected to such level of psychological, emotional, and even physical torture and deprivation of his fundamental right of freedom and association, freedom of association. And interaction, of course, having been separated from his immediate family and loved ones, that could amount to unimaginable psychological and mental torture. Well, of course, in the same vein, it was gathered that the application, bail application, has been turned down, not totally, of course, refused, but according to the judge, he had directed the defense counsel that they should, of course, reapply for the bail application. Well, which we believe in the course of weeks or days, so to say, we are going to, of course, keep you updated in respect to the outcome of the second bail application that had been submitted. Then why should this be allowed to linger to this point? Could it be considered as a way of keeping him under detention while the 2023 election is done and dusted? Well, these are several opinions, of course, a sample of opinions from different quarters, but of course, time, few weeks from now, will tell better if that is truly what the government of Nigeria intend to achieve. But now it has been established within the court of law that those allegations lacks merit. Then what could be another reason for holding him behind the bar? Now that brings me down to the important issues that involves the Igbo. Why is it that the Igbos become the sacrificial lamb that bears the brunt of every civil unrest, especially within the northern region? That the hoodlums took this advantage to begin to boggle and destroy the properties worth billions of naira belonging to the Igbo or the Easterners within the northern region as a result of course, the murder of Deborah Yakubu, who has already been committed to the murder act in the past few days. What could it be? What do they intend to achieve? Understanding fully that the wounds of 1967 to 1970 have not been healed. Are they trying to, of course, incite another civil unrest which might not be in the interest of anyone? I think everyone should ensure, of course, that there shouldn't be a repeat of the past. Otherwise, we all must pay dearly. But the fundamental issue is, why should a particular region be considered or preferred, of course, beyond necessary, having, of course, been established by the law of the Nigerian state, that everyone is equal before the law. But the reality is not the case. Some are preferred more equal than others, as slightly said expressed by the animal farm, where some animals are preferred, of course, more better than others. It's very unfortunate that in a secular society, so to say, we have people who are political, religious bigots within the corridor of power, and who, of course, with some level of sentiment when issues of patriotism, issue of nationality, issue of justice, equity, and fairness comes to play. Well, it's very unfortunate, but the reality is that this will not build a healthy system, a healthy society for humanity. It cannot in any way ensure integration of the various ethnic nationalities who already have been feeling some sense of marginalization across the board, are being sidelined from the helm of affairs or events of the Nigerian state. Well, I believe that the elder statesman and whosoever is the lover of peace must ensure that the repeat of the 1967 and 1970 is being forestalled. Otherwise, Africa will experience another unimaginable civil war in the history of mankind. But of course, we don't pray for that. But we must act now and deliberately and consciously to avert the possibility that may plunge all asunder into the most fearful and dreaded second civil war. But what would be your own point of view in respect to the invasion or vandalization of the Igbo property in the northern region? Please, I want you to have your comments on this comment section, and express your own view and how you think the myriads of problems bedeviling the Nigerian state could possibly be averted, if not totally abrogated. But don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share this video. Until we meet some other time, I will want to say thank you for being part of this evening political rumbles. Have a wonderful day. I remain the anchor Chigozie Ejiogu. See you. Okay, thank you. Bye. Until we see again. Remain safe.